Well, greetings and welcome to our daily Devo for Tuesday, the 6th of June. Today, I am back to using my computer for this. I know some of you expressed you liked it on the phone better, more personal, I guess, better volume, but I have added a microphone to this. Same one I use on Sunday mornings to capture the sound, so I'm assuming this will be loud enough and make it possible for you to put it at the volume level you want. Um, this keeps me from just being able to record it and have it all on one device as opposed to recording on the phone and sending it over to my computer and all of that. So hope you don't mind. Um, you'll still be able to hear the truth, and it won't matter that you can see me so well. We are on to Herodium today. Herodium. Matthew chapter 21, verses 18 through 22 are cited. Um, Verse 22 is the one that they share with us here. If you believe, you will receive whatever you ask for in prayer. Herod the Great did not intend for the Herodium to be the object of a faith lesson. He built this palatial complex as a wilderness watch station and entertainment venue. Jesus had other plans for it. He often taught about prayer, demonstrated it, and even gave the disciples a pattern to follow in the Lord's Prayer. But something was still missing, and the Herodium was just what Jesus needed to address it. No, you didn't miss something. Jesus does not mention this luxurious mountain resort by name in this passage, but there's little doubt that when he says this mountain, he is referring to the Herodium. As Jesus traveled over the Mount of Olives from Bethany to Jerusalem, the Herodium would have been clearly visible a little more than 7 miles away. With its 5-story hall and 8-story tower, it stood out from all the surrounding terrain. The Herodium was perfectly round in shape, and it actually had a history of being moved. As part of Herod's construction plan, workers shaved off the mountain adjacent to the building site and deposited the material around the base of the Herodium to create a 32-degree slope around the hall's perimeter. By all accounts, this quote-unquote mountain was an excellent choice for Jesus' object lesson. The Herodium may have been an impressive piece of architecture, but the disciples weren't enamored with the place. As members of the working class, they had paid taxes for this government project, but they did not benefit from it. They weren't invited to enjoy a meal in its lavish dining room or relax beside its massive swimming pool, complete with its own island. Wow. They could only watch as social elites and dignitaries entered the complex via its glistening marble staircase. When the disciples looked upon this mountain, they recoiled in disgust. It symbolized all that had gone wrong in society, reminding them of the Roman occupation of their land and the financial abuse of the poor. This mountain, so-called, needed to be moved again, and the sea, meaning the nearby Dead Sea, was the perfect place for it. For observant Jews, for observant Jews living in the Holy Land of Jesus' day, the Dead Sea was where they threw any pagan object they discovered. If only God would take Herod's sprawling palace and dump it in the Dead Sea where it belonged. Such a move was nice to imagine, and the disciples might dare to put this on their wish list. but it was too much for them to put on their prayer list. Sound familiar? We also tend to artificially limit our prayer life by treating our prayer list as if it were merely a wish list. That needs to change. Jesus points in the direction of the Herodium and says, if you believe, you will receive whatever you ask for in prayer. The impossible is possible. Mountains can be moved. I find this Devo today very much appropriate for the times in which we're living in the world, for sure, in our own nation, absolutely. We feel that there are things that are overwhelming us, political views, culture views, lifestyle views, and we wish it would go away. We wish we could pass laws to make people stop that, to put an end to that particular direction in which we're going. Have we seriously taken it to the Lord in prayer? Have we asked for His Spirit to work in us, that our lives, our testimonies, the words of our mouths would portray His truth, His power, His love, His grace, His mercy, instead of what's my political view? What do I think is wrong and right? No. What about God? What does He say? What does He want to do about the situation? The disciples and others walked past the Herodium. Oh, sure wish we could get that dumped in the ocean, dumped in the Dead Sea, and then do nothing. We dare not pray and then plan to do nothing. I remember hearing this one time and it stuck with me. If you're praying for a mountain to be moved, prepare to get out your shovel, for there will be a role that the Lord would have us play in that. 3 questions today. What subjects make it to your wish list but never to your prayer list? That's a good one. What subjects make it to your wish list but never to your prayer list? Why have you felt underconfident about the power of prayer? How do you hear Jesus speaking to you today regarding your prayer life? Prayer, as long as I've been in the ministry and since I was a kid, I've heard it said that our prayer life is the weakest thing about us, and we don't do anything about it. We don't pay attention to it. We don't develop it. We don't dive into the Word and get the truth and of what God wants and turn it into prayer. Pray the Scriptures. Our prayer life needs to be strengthened. Our community prayer life needs to be given the honor and recognition and the importance that it deserves. And here is the prayer for today. Lord, it's time for me to pray about my prayer life. I confess that I often treat my prayer list like a wish list. I hope for things to happen and change, but I have little confidence that my prayers can move a mountain. Please replace my uncertainty with confidence. Blessings to you today, and pray with confidence that God is able, and pray according to His will.